This cast is so utterly unlikable, it's got me actively rooting for a police officer and a white dude that wears these kind of sunglasses.
Pop my trunk, let the doors up. Pop my trunk, let the doors up.
The Trust on Netflix is a new reality show where 11 people have the opportunity to split, I think, $250,000. It's an elimination show where no one technically has to get eliminated. That's totally up to the group. So the social experiment here is seeing if 11 strangers can agree to share the money, or if there are going to be enough fractions within the group where people are going to get picked off. If you haven't watched this yet and you have interest, I suggest you stop this video right now, go watch it, and then come back, because I'm going to talk about all the episodes that are out right now, 1 through 4. There's going to be tons of spoilers. So here's your opportunity to go watch it, come back, and see what I think about it after. I'm going to just jump right in because honestly, fuck these people. Matter of fact, I'm only going to mention 2 people by name because they got done dirty. Everybody else just gets nicknames. So my nigga Jules is a 32-year-old police officer who decided to come in and tell everybody he was a stripper. He figured people would have less biases toward him as a male stripper than they would as a police officer. Says a lot about where we are as a society. But at the same time, I get it. Personally, I haven't dealt with a lot of male strippers. Can't really speak to their character. But I've dealt with police officers, and I've dealt with strippers, and I definitely trust strippers more. Ironically, he made this decision to come off as more trustworthy, and he ended up being the first guy dumped. And aside from lying about his occupation, he was probably the most trustworthy person there. Like, it really wasn't fair how bro got done. And literally the only reason he got eliminated is because Africa needs to heal. Seriously, so one of the things they do during the show is they have this thing called the vault, and every so often a couple people out of the group get to go down to the vault, and they get presented with 2 options. One option benefits them, the other option benefits the group. So Jules and Simone had the option to either take money from the group and give it to themselves, or add money to the pot but remove 2 people's ability to vote. They decided to add money and take 2 people's vote. To try to make it fair, there's a list of names on the wall. They just chose the first 2 names. Africa happened to be one of those names, and she just can't get it out of her head. He did it maliciously. He wanted to take her power. This was personal, and now he gotta go. So this heifer rallies the rest of the coven to get bro out, and they do it. And what really pisses me off is like an episode or 2 later, when the next couple of people go down to the vote, they confirm that yes, there is a list, and the order is as old boy said. But we never see anybody apologize. We never see anybody showing any kind of remorse or feeling bad or even acknowledging that, oh, he was telling the truth. Oh, we fucked up. Oh, that wasn't cool. Coincidentally, the next person kicked off was Simone. And this was done because the coven didn't trust her. Why not? Because she dared speak against their high priestess. For context, old lady is going on and on about how G.I. Joe is misogynistic because in this little exercise they did, he had to align people based on who's most trustworthy, and he chose his boys over the girls. He also assigned himself as the best leader in the group. And what's funny about this is, of course, he's right. He shouldn't trust the girls. They're the ones who voted Jules out. He doesn't know this, but he knows something up with them. But old lady now thinks he's a piece of shit because he's been flirting with Trixie and revealed that he doesn't really trust her. What's funny about that is in about an hour or 2, her and the rest of the coven ain't gonna trust Trixie either. But during her tirade against old boy, Simone speaks up and says, hey, don't speak for me. I ain't got no problems with G.I. Joe. And the coven did not appreciate that shit at all. Now let's briefly go over my impressions of the rest of this god-awful cast. Africa needs to heal. Seriously, get a therapist, work through that hurt, because your intuition is trash. I personally found it shameful how she refused to believe anything Jules said to her, but as soon as G.I. Joe apologized for offending her, she's all in tears talking about kumbaya. Fuck out of here. And while we're on the subject, let's talk about why she was offended in the first place. I know we don't see everything, so there could have been more little slip-ups that, caused her to feel a certain way about G.I. Joe. But essentially, every time he referred to her, he mentioned something about her being African. My African queen, African princess, stuff like, you look so beautifully African, or whatever the fuck he was saying. She doesn't want to be constantly referred to as African, and I get that. But at the same time, you showed up wearing Africa earrings. When she was complaining about this in a little confessional, she had on an Africa necklace. Talking about he said I look African. Nigga, I'm pretty sure if I asked AI to draw me an African woman, it would draw you. Trixie is her nickname because she admittedly feeds off tricks. She even admitted to stealing from one of the men she was dealing with. In fairness to her, she had a pretty rough upbringing, But that doesn't excuse you from being a shitty person. This picture does not do forehead justice. Seriously, the square footage on this girl's forehead is Stevie Wonder level. I'm talking about
remove the cap.
God dang.
Level forehead action. It's remarkable. This heifer is insane. Like, for real. Unhinged, crazy, deranged. I am legit afraid of this person. She is a danger to society. Texas is cool. A little naive, but he alright. Seems good-hearted. One thing I like about G.I. Joe is he knocks Trixie down a peg every chance he gets. She thought she was gonna come on here and manipulate him like she does her customers, but he's not going for it, at least so far. Eric Trump has no business on this show. Seriously, this kid is a literal millionaire, and he's on a show where you potentially share $250,000 with 11 people. Nigga, why? What's worse is the fact that he obviously couldn't wait to tell everybody that he was a millionaire. Like, this shit was eating away at him. They had to know, just so he could flex his designer clothes on a bunch of broke people trying to win money.
When you are a very energetic person, a very flamboyant person, and I talk with my hands a lot, sometimes people judge that. But listen, me and my girlfriend have been together for 6 years. We were high school sweethearts. She's my best friend. And however people perceive me is the way that they want to judge the book by the cover. You know, I'm very confident in who I am, and there's only one Bryce Lee.
Nigga, you gay.
I ain't trying to be too disrespectful to somebody's grandmama, but old lady be tripping. That's all I'm gonna say. And lastly, Average Joe. He hadn't been too problematic so far, but his obvious crush on Trixie might end up being his downfall. But this is the most generic motherfucker on the show. Like production drove around Staten Island and just grabbed the first nigga they saw pumping gas. That's it, man. I don't know if I'll be covering the rest of this. Got Love Island starting up soon. I still got football going on. But if enough of y'all are into this shit, I'll keep talking about it. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one. Appreciate y'all.
I came empty-handed, but I'm leaving with 3. Plus I made about a G, cause I made them tip me.